went into the fact that working at the library is kind of like a circus too. So the people I work with kind of got in there. So then other people at the library work with that I've never worked with got in there. So they went from like 40 minutes to now, you know, they can take up to 2 hours depending on how much I'm well, so that's interesting. But the first thing is you are allowed to laugh at anything that comes out of my mouth. Four main components of this are, you know, funeral stories. And funerals are the great home of suppressed laughter anyway. But these have, you know, people on pot and dwarves chasing things. It's just, they lend themselves to laughter. So
every day.
You just have you
never no,
yeah, a family overview would just basically come down to my twin sister and I were born very late. My mom was 42 when she had us. So my oldest brother was 18 years older than us, and my brother Carl was a dwarf, a little person. I don't know if medically he met the thing, but like at the time they're just like, yep, that's a dwarf. He was right on the borderline, had all the disproportionate. And though I love my brother Carl for instilling a love of reading and things into me, he was kind of a jackass to people. So like he wouldn't actually like, oh, go take the weed whacker and trim Graham's grass. No, I don't want the neighbors to see me sweat. So this is it. Now, my other brother, Bob, who's like 7 or 8 years older than us, he was a steel worker. Dropped out of high school, got a GED, but just was like this rugged guy. To the point where he would have just like the strongest human being I know. And I mean like borderline comic book strong. Like, when he would get angry, he was fighting with my dad the one time, and my dad went to drive away in the truck, and Bob grabbed hold of the truck. Now granted, there was ice involved on the street, but he was able to hold the truck while Dad was trying to drive away and then pull it up onto the sidewalk and hit the drain pipe on the house. So this is pretty much like, okay, don't fight, Bob. Now, my two brothers did not like each other because one is like, I don't want to do anything and the neighbors see me sweat, and the other one is like, I'm going to be a steel worker and lift trucks. There's a difference. And this will come to a head at the fight in the back room of my father's funeral, but we'll get there. My sister is a unique individual. She has sometimes she doesn't mind being called an evil twin, sometimes she's like, I'm not evil and I'll kill you for saying it. She has done some things, let's just say. We'll get to that. A lot of things revolve around the concept of Nicastro luck, which is my family's name. It starts out really when you go all the way back to the first Nicastros who came in from southern Italy, from the Nicastro region. And I was doing this family tree one time and I said, Dad, why does, for like a 10-15 year period, is there Nicastros living here, and then there's none, but they're the same first name, but a different last name, then they're Nicastros again, like in 1940. And he's like, well, you know, your great-grandfather Gabriel and your great-grandfather Felino, they're two families that were like friends. And he's like, yeah, they just killed the wrong guy. And I'm like, killed someone you shouldn't? And then it goes, no, not the guy they were supposed to kill. He's like, so they kind of ran into Pottsville and changed their name for about 15 years. And so one census will be like, same first name, same number of kids in the family, all the same names, different last name, and then 20 years later, the Nicastros. And I'm like, huh. Castro seems extremely generic as a name. So it's like, yeah, so that's kind of what we call Nicastro like, and it's happened the whole time. We're from Schuylkill County, which I love, it's my home, but a lot of times when I get to my brother Bob's funeral, you'll see Schuylkill County is a place of rich and interesting uniqueness. It's the whole region of Pennsylvania. I love it, but you know, I actually force myself to not use my accent, which is like a "dat dare, how you doing" type.
I know, leave me alone.
Yeah. And anytime I go home for an extended period of time to visit my brother's daughters, I will come back and I'll be like, hey, we need to go down there, and I'm like, I had TH last week, and now TH is not my friend anymore. But I wouldn't ever want to grow up anywhere else. But and actually, I actually have bullet point here. I'll tell that story now just to illustrate. When my brother Bob died, we go into school. Now we lived up here for a while, and we drive into Schuylkill County, and it's a snowy February. It's a lot of snow on the ground, and Nicole, we stop, and Nicole gets out to pump the gas, and I smoked at the time. I walked over away from the explosion area to smoke near the gas station. And some guy comes out, he's like, "Hey there, Butt, what are you doing now?" Butt is a version of Buddy, the miner's buddy. And miners in the area would always call him. My dad would actually call me Buddy. And actually, Nicole and Lily the other day, I was like, "Hey, Buddy," because I'll call her Buddy. So it's like B-U-T-T-Y or B-U-D-D-Y. So they're like, "Hey, Butt, what are you doing having your woman over there pump gas?" And I'm like, "I don't really need this. I'm back in the area from my brother's funeral." Blah, blah, blah. He's like, "No, I don't think you're from this area, because if you're from this area, you know, you wouldn't have your woman there pumping your gas." And I'm like, so finally I'm just standing there, and something just clicks, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't think I'm from here? Well, how about I take this here snow shovel and shove it sideways right up your ass?" And he goes, "I'm so sorry about your brother." Schuylkill County in a nutshell.